I'm going to be honest with you. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, but that's exactly why I wanted to show up and be here for this conversation. Because here's the truth: you cannot ascend or awaken if you're running on an empty tank. This awakening energy is powerful and it's pushing so many of us, especially those sensitive souls, and those are the people that tend to listen. We need to slow down, listen to our bodies, and take care of ourselves in a deeper way. Today, I want to share with you how we can protect our energy, honor our bodies, and still go through these intense shifts. So, I'm Amanda Beth. Thanks for coming to my Transformation Tuesday here on our lives. Like I said, I feel a little under the weather, so we're gonna talk about that. Here in the Midwest of the U.S., we have had just a lot of intense heat and humidities, and those extremes really mirror that energetic intensity that so many of us are feeling. So we're feeling it on an energetic level because we're processing, we're connected, we're sensitive souls, and then we add the actual physical heat and humidity on top of it. And so I just want to make sure that we're checking in with everybody and making sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you honor and you respect your body's need to rest and digest. Um, there's a lot of awakening, and they're talking about what some reports say that there's 144,000 souls awakening. I know for me and the energetics and the circles that I'm in, there are a lot of people who are coming into their gifts, who are acknowledging this, and who are really, really making that shift. So the empaths, as empaths, we're feeling it up. We're really feeling it a lot more than people who are not as aware to know what's going on. And so just make sure that when you're feeling these things, we also need to take care of our basic human needs. So you can feel kind of burned out. And I was looking through some old posts, and there's this picture of this poor dog, and it's a little puppy, and he's asleep, he's sound asleep, and it says, burnout is real and flotation is too. So promoting my float business, so we'll probably be posting that as well. But some of the other things is I just want to talk about there's 5 quick tips for you to keep in mind as you're going through these processes, whether you feel that you're ascending and becoming enlightened or not. We need to be aware of these things. One, hydration is energy medicine. Drink more water than you think you need. Your body processes these energetic upgrades just like it does toxins. So as we're working this energy through, we got to work it on out too. So have your water bottles full. There's all kinds of things to do. And I have a special guest coming on and joining me. So we're going to talk a little bit more about not just plain water, but what you need to be putting in that. The second tip I have is sleep. Sleep is your body's time to integrate. Your body and soul are integrating all of this information. So use your sleep time as your rest time, as part of your spiritual practice. Your body needs to heal and integrate all this information that it's been given. And I know the standard of sleep is plus or minus 2 hours from 8. So for the average person, it should be anywhere from 6 hours of sleep to 10 hours of sleep should be normal. In different times, different seasons, different things that we're processing, we need different amounts of time. This morning, I could not do it. I needed to, I didn't even make it through coffee. I ended up going back to bed. And so we can talk more about that. But the other thing that I want you to keep in mind, third tip here, is to create sacred space. Declutter your environment. That stagnant energy in your home and in your environment affects your vibration. So your desk, any working space that you use, I just love after, having a busy weekend of coming and going and everything, there is nothing like that satisfaction of having all the dishes washed. They don't even have to be put away, but they're washed. My kitchen, the countertops, everything is ready for the next wave. The same thing with your desk space. You're, putting away your laundry and finishing up any of those tasks. Create that sacred space that you use to keep your energy vibrant and fresh. And then I'm not even going to use the word exercise. I'm going to talk about moving with intention. So stretch, walk, dance around, move your body so that your energy is flowing. A lot of times your stuck emotions are going to get trapped in your body, and by moving you can help move those emotions on through and be able to process them so much better. And boundaries, do not forget about your boundaries equal protection. So don't take on energy that isn't yours. Okay, and I know we talked about this a lot in our boundaries for empaths. If it's not your energy, leave it alone. You don't need that drain on you, especially as you're doing your own transitioning and in these extreme heat conditions and extreme cold too for y'all on the other side of the globe. So ground yourself daily and honor that know that you have. You can look at these tips, you can journal them, how you feel. How do you feel after clearing out some space? How do you feel after a good night's sleep? Those things. So, and I know, like I mentioned, Andy Nam's going to be coming on here pretty soon. He is a functional nutritionist and a longevity specialist. So he's going to be coming in and helping us to stay in line there. So, Andy, welcome. Thanks for coming on. So, oh, I can't hear you. You're muted, dear.
So
There we
sorry.
go.
I was
That's
making, I was trying
okay.
to get
You have
work done in the
important things to
background.
say. We want to see you.
I am so happy, to be part of that your Transformation Tuesdays. I've been sharing it every week on my feed. You've been given so much amazing information, and just for all the people out there, Amanda's been helping me with some energy work, and it's helped with some clarity, Amanda. That was like 2 weeks ago, and it definitely sparked something in me, and things are just chugging along smoothly now, so thank you for that. I love your topic today. I love everything you shared so far about hydration is so important for us, right? Like, as a functional nutritionist and talking about longevity, as human beings, we're like 70% water. Our cells
Yeah,
are made of water, right? And it's funny what you said, like the water, the hydration is so important, but sometimes just drinking straight water is not what you want, right? You want to
right.
be making sure your body can actually absorb that, the cells can actually absorb the water and use that energy. So
When I
definitely.
worked in the medical office, we recommended it was 1 Gatorade to 3 bottles of water to replace. You don't want to just chug Gatorade because then you've got all this
Yes.
other sugar and you've got all this other
Yes.
stuff, and it's so sweet and concentrated. I don't know how anyone drinks it. I've never been a Gatorade drinker, but you can add it to your water so that you're getting
Exactly.
those electrolytes. And talking working in the doctor's office and being hydrated, you really need to be hydrated if you're going to have to give blood for any testing or
Oh,
do
for
an
sure. Yes.
IV. And people would come in and I would say, "Are you hydrated?" And they're like, "Yeah, I had a bottle of water in the car on the way over." It's like, no, you have to. It has to go in and get into your cells. Chugging a
Exactly.
bottle of water 20 minutes before is not the answer, but it's about hydrating the whole body and keeping the whole
Exactly.
body. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, Andy. How we can stay
I think,
balanced in that hydration.
yes, I think what you said was really true, like, especially Gatorade. I just want to have a quick tip on Gatorade is like, if you pull a picture of what Gatorade looked like 30 years ago, they used to come in a glass bottle and it used to be clear.
Mhm.
Now they come in all these fancy colors, all these added coloring, food coloring, more sugar. it's insane. When they first came out, Gatorade was actually a very good electrolyte replenishing,
Mhm.
substance for athletes and stuff like that, right? Now it's just becomes another sugar water alternative. And the funny thing is, Gatorade actually now has their electrolyte version, which is basically the original version that they had like 20, 30 years ago. So it's just interesting to me. But the only reason I bring that up is it's really important, like you said, to get electrolytes in our system. And that's how we actually can absorb the water, right? I remember a story. I used to be a gamer. I don't know how many gamers are out there. And of course, you can make money being a gamer now. But I remember a
Oh.
few years ago, it's probably easy 8, 10 years ago now. It's like, man, time flies. But when I was studying functional nutrition, and we're talking about water, drinking enough water to be hydrated, and on the news, some girl died because she drank too much water playing video games, I think for like 4 or 5 days straight. She had so much straight water, her brain actually, expanded too much and she died. She had a brain hemorrhage, right? So, water,
I remember when the Wii was popular, and I
yes,
used to listen to, the Virgin Radio out of the UK because their nights were my days, and it was
yes,
free radio I could get, and they had the Wii, hold your Wii, how long people could drink and
yeah.
not
It might
go,
actually be
and
from
people
that because I
died.
remember it was a competition and,
It
and some
was.
girl died,
Yeah. It's just
right?
like, oh,
So,
so it balance, everything in
exactly.
moderation and balance, everything, including the water.
Exactly. So, electrolytes are important, and there are a lot of systems out there, and both me and Amanda, we like adding some electrolytes in water. I like using some Celtic sea salt, and, a lot of times we use the new Celogize from LifeWave too. So
Yes.
that's a good, and it tastes good too, and it's healthy, and it boosts the nitric oxide. So you get all the benefits, but, definitely
Not
you
all
need to
that
get
cane sugar
yes,
or
exactly.
high fructose or the things that our body just it creates a bigger um burden on the body to filter, when you're putting stuff in you don't need,
Exactly.
then you just got to filter it out.
Exactly. Exactly. And then your second one you're talking about was sleep. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Um, but the funny thing is, like, a lot of people will say they'll get the 8 hours, 10 hours, and they don't feel rested. Right. So a lot of times if you're not rested, even though you're getting the amount of sleep in, it might be something that you're doing beforehand going to sleep, right? And this was funny because I was talking to someone, and to gain good exercise, so you want exercise, you talk about exercise, which is good for sleep, but depending on your last meal, you really want to be having finish your last meal probably 3 to 4 hours before you sleep, right? Otherwise it's going to be hard to sleep. Your body's going to be trying to digest the food that you ate before you sleep, and that's going to disrupt your sleep, right? So that's always important. But with in respects of energy, this was a conversation I had with a friend. And she was like me. She's a horror buff, right? So she likes watching horror movies. She likes playing those survivor horror games like Resident Evil and stuff like that. And then she's like, Andy, it's like I sleep 8 to 10 hours, but shit, man, I keep getting up. I can't sleep. I said, so what do you do before you sleep? Oh, I usually play like Resident Evil, like one of those games, or I watch a good horror movie. And I was like, you know, that's what you're gonna be thinking about when you go to sleep, right? So,
Oh, and when people are having trouble sleeping and they wake up and the first thing they do is they pick up their phone.
oh, for
Did you see
sure.
how many people, "It's 3 a.m., I can't sleep." Well,
Yeah,
put your phone down. That
exactly.
the blue light, the all the things that fire in your brain, it's no screen time for an hour before you go to bed is so much better.
Oh, that's
So much
amazing.
better because
That's
your
amazing.
brain is still shutting down and
Yes,
you're not getting into, oh gosh, the word is the sleep cycle. Your circadian rhythm
the circadian rhythm, exactly.
is messed up by all of that. I mean, you think about it, if you have a bedtime routine. You
Mhm.
know, you let the dogs out, you sit, you chill. For me, I am guilty of doing a Sudoku. I do one game of Sudoku. It takes me less than 3 minutes, and then that's my brain's transition.
I do
Um,
solitaire, so I am just as bad as you.
yeah, but we're also not playing it for hours on end.
Yes,
It's that transition
correct.
thing, and I know when I talk with people about as they begin talking with and working with their guides,
Mhm.
and your brain is firing and firing and firing, one of the things that I love to do is to say, "Okay, I've got all these thoughts in my mind," and
Yeah.
our brain wants to protect us. Our brain
Mhm.
wants to keep us active and vigilant, and it's like, "No, brain, you need a break." And so one of the things that I work with folks is, calling on their guides, their whoever, and handing that over.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's a
So
great
you
idea. I
can
have
do
to
it if you're
try that.
calling on your guides, and
Yeah,
if not, we go back to the little tiny dolls. They were worry dolls.
correct.
There'd be like 6 little worry dolls, and they came, my folks went to Mexico and brought them back, and they're in a little baggie, and they're just little wire dolls. But the object is that you told your dolls your worries,
Mhm.
and then you put them back in their little bag and you put them under your pillow or whatever. Same thing with your gratitude rock. There's different things that you can do, and you do them every night to let your brain rest, to
I love
let
that.
go of those worries, those things that we take to bed and we're worrying about. And for me, a lot of times I tell, my guides, it's like, all right, guides, you guys come in, you take this project. I will be happy to hear from you first thing in the morning. You are not allowed to wake me up. And I sleep much better. And when I wake up in the morning, when I've had something that's really like a big project, I channel some really incredible stuff in the morning when I first get up. That's my channel time. But even with the gratitude rock, you have, whatever rock, stone, or whatever, and you tell it
Mhm.
the thing that you're most thankful for the day. You put your day to rest on a positive note,
Mhm.
because in order to find your most positive thing or the most what you're most grateful for, you have to think through all the good stuff that happened,
Correct.
and that puts you in a better state to putting your day to rest.
I love that. I love that because most people say, "Hey, write in a gratitude journal," but like when we're ready to sleep, not all of us have a little book beside our bed to write it down. So to impart it onto a gratitude rock. So just a funky question on that is like a lot of us have stuffed animals in our bed. Can we use our stuffed animal as a
You
gratitude
bet.
rock?
You bet. Whatever, however you can get that swirling thought, 'cause
Mhm.
I'm accused of having a squirrel brain often. I think of all kinds of crazy, wonderful, awesome projects that make absolutely no sense, but they are real in my mind. But you think about all these great ingenious ideas, and yes, they need a place to land. If you
Yeah,
have the opportunity to journal it in a book, or, well, let's see, one of my birthday presents this year, I got a new minion,
I love it.
stress ball. Um, just whatever you can do to release that stress from your head so that
Mhm.
you're not having to think about it.
I love
And
it.
that you placed it somewhere, that you placed it with a rock, a
Mhm.
stuffed animal, a worry doll. You offloaded that from your brain. And if you choose to pick it back up, that will be your memory trigger of what I was worrying about this. What was it? Oh, yeah, it was that deal.
Correct. That is amazing. Just one more tip since we're talking about longevity hacks, talking about the phone and the blue screen. And I think this is something that will work for some people, not all people. Some people are very sensitive to EMF, electromagnetic radiation. And of course, all our devices were connected to Wi-Fi, we're connected to 4G, 5G, LTE, 6G, whatever, right? Like all these Gs. And there's a really cool mode, at least on the Apple devices, which is called airplane mode, and it shuts everything down. And the funny thing is, when I started using my Aura ring to track it when I shut off to go airplane mode, I actually get better sleep. I don't know if it's coincidental or not, because like you said, I think some of us are a little bit more sensitive to all the,
Oh, yeah.
because these are still just waves, right? Like they're
Well, and when I got my last iPhone, and apparently my other phone was still 4G because I wait until
Mhm.
I really got to get a phone. And when I got my new phone, I was sick. I had a migraine 24
Mhm.
hours a day for 3 or 4 days. I'm like, "What has changed?"
Correct.
I haven't changed my routine. Nothing has changed. Oh, that phone. And I
Yes.
didn't have, an EMF sticker on it.
Correct.
So I crawled out of bed and I pried the EMF sticker off my old phone, stuck it on this one,
Yeah.
and I went in and I shut the 5G off.
Correct.
I woke up a new person the next day. I was no
Wow. See,
longer
that's
sick.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So some
amazing.
of us are sensitive to things and some of us are not.
Correct.
There's some unique Facebook pages that talk about the levels of sensitivity.
Mhm.
And don't knock it because
Oh, for
you
sure.
may develop that sensitivity or find something that you're just as sensitive to. So when
Exactly.
and that
Exactly.
was like today when I woke up and I didn't feel well. Okay, what have I done? What's different? What do
Mhm.
am I really sick? Am I wore out? Do I just need to honor my body for a day? And I think
Correct.
that we have a lot of guilt and shame
Mhm.
if I don't get the laundry done, if I don't do the errands, what happens if I don't do it today? Well, probably nothing. And when I was first in my professional world out of college, I worked salary jobs. So yeah, you could take sick days, but you had to make up for it because no one covered my cases. And so
That's true.
we just went to work sick. And when you look at that, it's like take vacation time. Well, if I took vacation time, I had to make up for it.
Yeah.
Um, So in the 7 years I was with my last company, I had cashed out all the sick time that I could into vacation time. I had
Correct.
cashed out all of it that I could get paid for, and when I left, I still had weeks and weeks of
Wow.
time that I didn't get compensated for. So take the time, take care of yourself because you can't pour from an empty cup. You've
Yes.
gotta have the good sleep, and good hydration, add some electrolytes. But when you start playing with electrolytes, be very careful with it. Don't just guzzle it because your body
Yes.
needs time to process it. Because otherwise you're gonna create more problems. You add too much sugar, too much salt, too much potassium all at
So
once,
agreed. Yes.
you're just gonna process that out very quickly.
I love it. I love it. I think the last thing I wanted to share, because we're all energy beings, and that's why I love you as a friend on that. And we're talking about morning routines. You talked about earthing. A lot of people may not understand earthing actually means to go outside barefoot. Or if you have tile floors at home, you're earthing at home too, but walk around barefoot, it's a really good way to center your energy.
Mhm.
But you're talking about the hot weather and everything nowadays. It's interesting. If you're earthing through your foot, you're actually cooling the neurons that's firing in your brain too. So it's a great way to start off the day, some earthing and getting out in the sun. If you're feeling tired, as soon as you walk outside, dude, or dudette out there, it's like as soon as the sun hits your eyes, you wake up.
Yes, and it's good to wake up and just know what your routine is. Have a
Yes.
routine. Yes, I can get out of bed and be out the door in 5 minutes. I can. I
Mhm.
like my hour. I like my
Yes.
hour of my time. This is what I do. This is how, whether it involves coffee or not, I
Mhm.
need that hour.
Yes.
I can. If there's an urgent thing going on, I can.
Correct.
But I really and my favorite place, of course, is glamping and being able to go out on the riverbank and just watch the water and listen to the birds.
Oh, that sounds amazing. That's
It
something that
is.
we have to do one these days.
When it cools off a little bit. Oh. So,
Oh,
and tonight, we've got the Chronic Health Collective,
yes.
episode 44 from Obligation to Empowerment, Healing the Past and Reclaiming Your Life. We've got Christy and Jackie Ma. They're just I love them both. They're so energizing. It doesn't matter the topic. So that'd be tonight live at 7 p.m. Central Time on E360 TV and on YouTube.
Right.
So
So yeah,
I
it's
just
going to
want
be an amazing show. Amanda's part of our Chronic Health Collective coaches. And every Tuesday, like you said, tonight we have Christy and Jackie. Every Tuesday we feature two other coaches that's going to inspire you and lift you up in one aspect. I always love it as an analogy. When we go to church and you're sitting down, and when the pastor's speaking on that particular topic that day, and it's like, wow, he's speaking to me, right? I don't know. It's magical. It's seriously,
it is magical. Yeah, and if you can't catch it live, there's definitely the replay, so go back and watch it. It's well worth it.
Exactly. So youtube.com/a Chronic Health Collective. So definitely watch that.
Yeah.
Anything else you love to impart today? Like every Tuesday, I look forward. I'm in the back end on Facebook watching your videos, your training, Amanda.
And you came to bail me today because I don't know that I could have done it on my own, but I wanted to be here, and I just want to remind everybody it is absolutely okay to slow down, to rest, and honor where you are. And this, if you've never done this, if you've never taken care of yourself, you've always pushed on, you've just done the right thing, this is going to feel weird. I still have a hard time, going and laying down for a couple of hours. I'm getting better at it because I'm acknowledging that's what I need, and I need to respect the process. So, and definitely make sure you've liked and subscribed. We'll be back every Tuesday for Tuesday Transformation. And Andy, thank you so much for pitching in with us and providing information. And if anyone has a need for more information to get a hold of Andy, you are on Facebook, LinkedIn. You're on all the places too, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I am. Just Chronic Health Collective. I mean, Chronically Healthy Life. Uh, you know, I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
If you like Amanda, you'll find me too.
So yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Amanda.